Hi girls, it's great to be with you. I thought I would pop in on our way into Mother's Day, and to all the mamas and the grandmamas I say congratulations, you've navigated this last year awesomely, and you need to give yourselves a pat on the back. Not perfectly, who's perfect? I can't possibly be perfect, but you've achieved it really handsomely. So, well done. So I thought we'd just have a few laughs at first. We all need those. There was a mum, and she had a phone call come in. The kids were all peaceful, but when that phone call came in, all of a sudden, one child starts screaming. She puts that child on the hip. One child gets hold of her legs, and she can hardly hold herself up. And the other child gets onto the dinky or the trike, goes tearing around the house. So she says to her friend, really coolly and calmly, unlike myself, she says, "Oh, hi Janice. Look, I was wondering if it was at all possible if you could ring back in 11 years' time. By then, I think I will be able to have a great conversation with you without any interruptions." I can remember being there. What about if you can't get the attention of your child? Simple. Just get a cup of coffee or even just a mug in your hand, sit on the lounge and lay back and relax. You've got them. At any rate, I've just got a few points I wanted to leave with you in a moment, and I think they're points that might help us keep our sanity and excel for the long haul in our mothering. So let's give it a go. I'm going to start with a little personal bit. When I was ready to deliver my first baby, David and myself prepared to go to the hospital, and we were absolutely excited. We couldn't wait. This moment had eventually arrived. And my parents were there in the home, and Mum said, "My gosh, you look like you're going to a picnic." But she didn't enlighten us, so off we went. And after 12 and a half hours of hard work, they eventually put this baby onto my stomach. And my goodness, it was amazing. Something happened in that very moment. Something erupted, and it was like a volcano or a geyser, right from the centre of my chest. And it was this strong, deep, wide, encompassing, enveloping and love that I had that was totally directed to this baby. And I was incredulous. And I'd never experienced anything quite like it. And you know what? At that very moment, I realised that this was a major key to my mothering. It wasn't totally to do with what I was going to do. It was to do with this eruption that had just happened in my heart. It was a heart eruption. It was an eruption of the love and maternal instincts that God had placed in there that I hadn't ever connected to exactly like that before. And it was an avalanche, it was overflowing, and I realised that was the main game. That was the essence, and that was the driver of my mothering into the future. It was quite phenomenal, and I realised then, but I've realised it more as I've journeyed along, that phenomena, that centre point had to be looked after, had to be nurtured, had to be cared for and seen as something that was very important. So here's my points for that. The first thing I found to protect and to keep this love heart that I've got inside me for my family, my children, the first thing I have felt, and none of these are in order of importance, they're all important, so I'm just going to rattle them off. The first one have a date. Have regular dates. with your husband, with your partner, with if you're a single mum, it's really important for you to do something like this as well. So to find that right person that you feel you can trust and that you can share and you can laugh with, you've got things in common. But it's so important that we're across the table from our partner or friends, and we can share, we can have a meal, we can talk, we feel like we're human again. We catch up with our husband and his heart as well. You know, you don't feel like you're being tugged from one side to the other and interrupted, and these conversations that end up stilted. So that's my number one. I mean, you may not be able to have them every week, but I really think you have to be intentional about getting your diary out together with who you're going to do it with, and make dates, whether it's a month or whether it's 2 weeks. It depends what help you've got around you. But that's my first point. Makes having a date important. Secondly is soul restoring time. Now, you may not know what that is for you, but it's important that you discover it. It's what makes you feel beautiful, great. It refreshes you, it restores you, it reignites you, revitalizes you. For me, it's going to the beach. I love the salt air. I love the big expanse of a beach and the ocean, the horizon away out. I love paddling and breathing the sea mist. Very therapeutic for me. But it might be something different for you. You might like hiking through the bush or riding your bike. You might like reading magazines, books. Sometimes it just has to be something really easy. It's not asking too much of you, or it's not like a think tank. It's restoring your soul, topping you up of something that really does give to you. Thirdly, I believe that we need to be intentional about our relational connection with God regularly, like every day. Not just reading a podcast that ends up just potentially information. It is a connection with God. When you've got little children, hard, I know. But what about just even if you can, washing up, put those earplugs in, worship music, sing your heart out, chat, let the Holy Spirit in and chat. Maybe you get the verse of the day and you run into the bathroom for a second. I don't know, we've got to be creative in our ideas. And of course, when we come through those years, we still need to make sure that we are intentionally making a date with Jesus and having that time, because he can give something into our heart, our centre point of love that nobody else can. He gave us the love. He knows how to restore our love. So first of all, let's have a date with our partner. Secondly, have a time once a week, if possible, where you can have soul restoring time, or some time on a regular basis. Thirdly, have a relational God connection really regularly, like every day if possible. And then the fourth one is have friends. Look after that area. Maybe you have to work at it. You have to breathe into it and cultivate them. But give it a go if you find yourself that you haven't really got friends that you can do your season with. Look out for them. Be a giver. Encourage. Barrack for each other. Laugh, cry. Especially those in-season relationships different seasons we go through. Then I always think it's a great idea to have a grandmama type person in your world who can mentor you, who can give you the benefit of years of wisdom and experience, who I think they're good people to run new ideas with, because they're objective and they haven't got a total vested interest in those things. I think that is a really important area. So, and the last thought is, I think we need to have a gauge on our heart to keep check how we're going. And I think the gauge is joy. If we lose our joy, if our kids are getting on our nerves, we can't tolerate, if one more teenager gives me another thought or another problem or another, difficulty, I think we can easily lose our joy. We can say, if I see you again, I think let that joy gauge help you to know where you're up to in your heart. And if you are stressed and challenged, look up all your 4 points and say, well, oh gosh, I haven't had a date for about 3 months. Well, hello. That's what you need to readjust and correct. But these are just some ideas for you to think about that may help you in this most amazing journey as a mama. And I want to say, because I think our heart is the most important thing. It is the centerpiece, the center point of how we can do our mothering and how we do relationships. And so mums, I want you to be celebrated this Mother's Day. I want you to be honoured. I want you to be appreciated. I want you to be loved. That's my prayer for you. And I say, invite it. Welcome it. Hello, here I am. Let's go. And have a guess what? You deserve it. Love you. Bye.